for another day of the week, or another week of the year. Welcome to the Monday edition of Chasing That Paper, presented by VegasInsider.com. Oh, baby, we got a big show planned for you guys today. I think 7 total picks here across the NBA and the NHL. Obviously, we have a lot to discuss, too, in the second half of the program. March Madness bracket set, so we're going to get into some futures picks and whatnot there. Then we're going to go through the news of the weekend of the NFL. Panthers making a big splash, up to first overall in the draft, and pretty nice acquisition by my Miami Dolphins. You see the helmet in the background there, Jalen Ramsey. So we're going to break down the implications of that. So I'm coming off a 2-2 show there Friday, so a losing effort, nothing plus money. The winning side there, but unfortunately my co-host there today, we got to point it out. We celebrate our victories. Ian got reverse cowgirled on Friday, 0-4 with this pick. So here to speak about it is Ian himself. Ian, tell us a little bit about your performance on Friday. What happened?
Yeah, it wasn't good, Joe. I don't know what happened. I've been terrible in college basketball this year, but you know when is a good time to get hot is right now for March Madness. So. 0-4s happen. It happened to me Friday night. I saw 2 of those 0-4 losses live in the Big East tournament. Live sporting events aren't quite as fun when you have a lot of money on one side and it loses. So I did make up for it though, Joe. I did crush the Players' Championship. If anyone would tail my picks in that, so hopefully I made up for it. But it was a bad Friday. It was a bad Friday.
Indeed. Now, I do recall Ian did quite well in the NFL playoffs, so hopefully that same type of focused approach to the big games will carry over to March Madness, so we will discuss March Madness in the second half of the show. But, of course, as we do around here, we front load with the picks, so let's get right into that action. We're going to start things off down in Miami, where the Utah Jazz are in town, and I'm going to take a shot on that dog. Hoof, hoof, hoof. The Utah Jazz coming in at plus 7.5 in this one. Let's get right into it. So Miami can't be trusted with this many points. Are you kidding me? The Heat are 5-17-1 against the spread as a favorite of 4 or more this season. They are also the worst bet at home in the NBA, covering at just 30.3% in Miami. And for what it's worth, this line's up pretty damn good. Jazz hitting at 64% against the spread as a road underdog this season. One of the best in the NBA in the spot. And you dig into the stats, better defensive numbers for Utah here lately. Opponent EFG over the last 10 games, 6 versus 22, 8 versus 22 points allowed per 100 possessions. Utah might be able to dominate the glass here in this one. First versus 26 in rebounds per 100 possessions over the last 10 games. Give me the Jazz to give the Heat a game and cover that plus 7.5. All right, Ian, over to you. What are you looking at first?
Taking a look at the National Hockey League for my first 2 plays. The first one's between the Buffalo Sabres and Toronto Maple Leafs. I think we're going to see a lot of goals tonight, so I'm going to back the over, even though the total's all the way up at 7. You can still get plus money on the over at some places. So I'll take Sabres, Maple Leafs over 7 here. Sabres defense has been absolutely atrocious lately. Over their last 10 games, they are dead last in expected goals against per 60 minutes at 4.05. Dead last in actual goals against per 60 minutes at 4.27. Also, over their last 10 games, both offenses have been pretty hot, 6th and 11th in goals scored per 60 minutes. Leafs averaging 3.69, Sabres averaging 3.38. And the Maple Leafs will be starting Matt Murray between the pipes tonight. He is the only confirmed goalie for tonight's slate so far, and he's allowed 4 goals in 4 straight games. Save percentage is .833 and .846 in his 2 games since returning from injury. So give me the over 7 at even money between the Sabres and Maple Leafs.
Oh, Sabres and the Leafs. Okay, back to the NBA. We have the Atlanta Hawks playing host to the Minnesota Timberwolves. I'm going to take the Timberwolves plus 5.5. I do not understand this number. Similar to the first game we picked, Atlanta can't be trusted with this many points. They're a bad bet as a home favorite, covering at just 42.3%. But check them out as a home favorite of 3 or more points, covering at just 31.5% this season. Sticking with that number, 3 or more, the Wolves are on an absolute roll in the spot. 9-2 against the spread in their last 11 games as a dog of 3 or more points. Outright wins in 8 of these games. This is a team that plays up to the competition. You dig into the stats here. Hawks really falling off defensively. Not that they were great to start with, but they've been especially bad lately. Last 10 games, 24th in opponent EFG percentage, 26 in points allowed per 100 possessions. I expect success offensively for Minnesota. In this one, give me the T-Wolves plus 5.5. Indeed. All right, Ian, back to the NHL. What do we got?
Yeah, before I give out this pick, I want to let producer Tito know that cue one of these new sound effects up here, Tito. Not yet. I'll let you know when to hit it, but you told us you had 6 or 7 new sounds. I'm ready to hear one of them. Not yet, but get ready. All right, let's get into my second NHL pick. I'm going to take the Dallas Stars as slight favorites over the Seattle Kraken, minus 125 in this spot. They've been playing some fantastic hockey as of late. Actually, second in the NHL in expected goals percentage over their last 10 games. Seattle's coming in at 14th. Also, this is a matchup between hot shooting and ice-cold goaltending. Stars third in shooting percentage in the NHL over their last 10 games, scoring on 12.39% of their shots on goals. Kraken dead last in team save percentage. Their goalies stink. Save percentage of 86.19% over their last 10 games. They're terrible. Tito, hit the sound. Not quite what I was going for.
Good sound effect.
Not great. My last point here, Tito, before we wrap my pick up. Kraken 16-13-4 at home this season. Not great. There we go. That's my second of 2 NHL picks.
I think that alone. Let's hear it. Give us another sound effect, Tito. You can redeem yourself. One of the new ones. What do we got?
That is blasphemous.
Okay, I kind of like that one.
Stephen, I don't mind that. Can't go to the well on that one too often. Like a couple times a week, maybe.
That is blasphemous.
I do like that. Okay, right back to the NBA here. First half play down in Houston. Rockets, we fade the Rockets around here. We're going to fade them in the first half. Take the Celtics to cover the first half spread. Coming in at -7. So fast starts, but slow finishes here for Boston. The Celtics have been one of the best first half teams lately, going 8-2 ATS in their last 10 in their first half, ranking 4th in first half point margin. But those numbers fall off in the second. So we'll steer clear of a full game bet here. This lines up pretty good with the Rockets' first half numbers being absolutely horrific. 29th in first half point margin over the last 10 games. 29th in opponent EFG shooting percentage in the span as well. Allowing the most points in the first half at 64.4, which is almost 10 more than what the Celtics are allowing. So how the Celtics going to get there and cover this big number? Watch for domination from three-point land. Celtics average the second most threes in the first half over the last 10 games. The Rockets are allowing the most threes in the first half in this span. Yeah, big number for a first half spread, but also a very beautiful spot. Give me the Celtics first half, -7 tonight in Houston. All right, Ian, your final pick of the show. What do we got?
Well, no college basketball tonight and only 2 NBA games, 2 NHL games. So I'm going to give out 3 NHL games. I'm going to give out a rare NBA prop is what I'm trying to get to here. So let's go ahead and break this down. Desmond Bane, over 5.5 rebounds at +120 is going to be my NBA player prop for tonight. The Grizzlies are taking on the Dallas Mavericks, who are 29th in the NBA in rebounding rate, grabbing only 47.8% of boards. Desmond Bane and the Grizzlies just played the Mavericks on Saturday. Desmond Bane had 7 rebounds in that game. That's well over the set total, 5.5 for tonight. And he's also somehow, some way, averaging 1.6 more rebounds on the road this season. 4.2 boards per game at home, 5.8 on the road, which is kind of weird. So I like Desmond Bane, especially at plus money. Give me the over 5.5 rebounds tonight.
Desmond Bane, road rebounds. I was rebounding on the road. All right, I have a player prop too for this same game. Taking a bit of a swing here. Tyrus Jones of the Grizzlies. I like him to get a double-double. This one's going off at plus 220. So, of course, he's needed to step up with Ja Morant being out of the lineup, and he's had a double-double in 3 of the 4 games here since Ja's suspension, if you want to call it that, including a double-double on Saturday versus the Mavericks, who he plays tonight. I was averaging 34 minutes in these games. That's about 10.5 more than his season average, and a great matchup for him to go off on and fill the stat sheet. Dallas is getting absolutely cooked by opposing guards. The last 10 games, they're allowing the most points and the most assists versus opposing guards. A hard time getting stops. The Dallas Mavericks expect Jones to have his fingerprints all over the ball tonight. Taking a swing. We are swingers. Tyrus Jones. Double-double plus 220. Thinking you would have thrown in the sound effect. Swingers. Now that is a winner. Gotta be. It's all about timing with them, though, right? Ooh, yeah.
Yes.
Let's hear another one.
He's. Tito?
Are you there? I probably went to the bathroom.
Oh, yeah.
No.
Or the same one, right? What is going on over there?
Okay, so we've added more sound effects. We need to work on his timing a little bit more.
Timing. So maybe daylight savings type of a situation. So yeah, the first Monday back to work after the clocks going ahead can be a bit difficult. I woke up this morning before my alarm clock went off, which is always kind of shitty when that happens. But it's one of these things you wake up and okay, I'll go back to sleep for a half hour. So I thought, but I wake up and I look at the clock on the other side of the room. It says like 7:05, but then I have the conversation with myself. Did me or my wife change that clock yesterday? I didn't know. So I didn't know if I had more time to sleep or if I had overslept. Kind of a weird way to start your phone. Today, but
could have checked your phone.
Yeah, but I purposely put my phone away from me because the phone has the alarm. Then I get up. What, do you lay in bed for a half hour every morning before you get on your feet again?
Sometimes.
Okay. To each their own. Guys, if you're watching on YouTube right now, do me a favor. Smash that like button right down there. Smash that subscribe button right down there. Make sure you're following the Vegas Insider channel. A lot of great March Madness content coming up, not just on this show, but a lot of great stuff from Kevin Rogers, Patrick Everson. They had a live show last night. Lots of good information in there from the sports books in Vegas, so make sure you check that out. And, of course, it's his peak time of year, next to Super Bowl. We're getting bets in, and the sports betting world in general. A lot of people are going to be opening a new sports book. I highly recommend opening a new sports book with BetMGM if you don't already have one. And you can sign up with BetMGM using the promo code VIBonus. This is something you're going to want to take advantage of. Get a first bet offer up to $1,000 paid back in bonus bets if you don't win. That's VI bonus, all one word, no spaces, for a first bet offer of up to $1,000 paid back in bonus bets if you don't win. Just use the code VI bonus. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. You must be 21 years or older to wager. Offers for new customers only. BetMGM, the king of sportsbooks. Yeah.
Go!
Homer? I don't mind the Homer sound, but once the timing. We're promoting BetMGM. That's would indicate something.
That would have been a
negative.
great where he had the coins earlier, Tito. That would have been a great time for coins.
Coin one. Or Ian gets reverse cowgirled with his picks. Dope.
Right.
Homer Simpson. You watch much Simpsons these days, Ian?
No.
They're still pumping out new episodes. I don't watch it much myself. I don't watch much. Is Family Guy still putting out new shows?
I think so.
Yeah, not my cup of tea these days, I guess, but who knows? Okay, a lot to get into here. More to talk about than just the Simpsons and Family Guy. Of course, Selection Sunday was last night. March Madness playing games get going tomorrow. So we know what the brackets look like. The seeding is set. So, Ian, any big takeaways from what we've seen with the seedings and the regions here?
Yeah, I got a couple quick bracket takeaways. I will self-promote the Bacon Bets podcast. This morning's episode, I went through my entire bracket, region by region. So if you want a little bit more in-depth, check that out. But number one, the West is just the absolute group of death here. I think even Ken Palm, even though I'm not the biggest Ken Palm guy, he even has number one Kansas as like the third or fourth best chances to win the region. You got Kansas, you got UConn, you got UCLA, you got Gonzaga, you got St. Mary's. You got Arkansas as an 8 seed, Illinois as a 9. Like this, the West region is just by far the best region. Like there's not even an argument to be made that any other region is as good as the West. The East region, probably the region of frauds. I think most people would say number one Purdue is the weakest number one team. You got some other potentially fraudulent teams like Marquette, Kentucky, maybe Kansas State certainly is a fraudulent team. A lot of people think Tennessee might be fraud. I don't know if I'd agree with them on that, but so I've named 2 of the 4 regions so far. We got the group of death in the West, and we got the region of frauds in the East. The other 2, the South and the Midwest, pretty solid. Some good teams, some bad teams. So that's what I got to say about the bracket. The other thing I'll say, stay away from Mountain West teams. Stay away from San Diego State, Utah State, maybe Boise State the first round, but don't pick any Mountain West team to go far. Every single year, people convince themselves, oh, the Mountain West, those teams are feisty. Nobody wants to play them. And then they suck. All 4 Mountain West teams in the tournament last year were eliminated within 12 hours of tip-off on Thursday. They all lost in the first round. I think they all lost in the first round the year before. Maybe one team might have got a win, but they're terrible. They're like 22-55 all time in the tournament, something like 3-14 over the past number of years or something like that. So if there's one big takeaway, don't take Mountain West teams to go far in your bracket.
Okay, let's take a look at things from a futures betting perspective here. So, Producer Tito, if you want to bring up the odds board, the odds to win the national championship here, no surprise at the top here. Houston, plus 500. That's not an attractive number for me in a tournament like this. 5-1. Yeah, they might be the best team, but I don't see a whole lot of betting value there. Then again, I am a bit of a casual when it comes to college basketball, so maybe you don't take my advice on that. Followed by Alabama, Kansas, Purdue, 11-1, the longest odds of the top seeds. So, Ian, an overall winner, any specific futures bets you like here before the tournament officially tips off?
So, heading into the tournament, I had 3 bets. I had UCLA, UConn, and Arizona. 2 of those teams, UCLA and UConn, are in the same region. That doesn't work out for me well. If you want to place a bet right now and you're looking at a team for some value, I actually think it's Tennessee at 30-1. I think the East is the weakest region. I think they can beat the number 1 seed in that region in Purdue. 30-1 is a pretty solid price on the best defensive team in the country. There's no arguing that. You could say things about their offense, but no team is better defensively than the Volunteers. So 30-1, I've added them to my ticket. If you want someone who's maybe a little bit of a better chance of winning, I mean, I still kind of like Arizona at 12-1. I think that's decent value. Maybe Texas at 16-1 is pretty decent value. But yeah, outside, I wouldn't go, like, the longest odds I'd take is maybe like Texas A&M or Arkansas at 50-1, and then that's pretty much it. Should be a fun tournament though.
Okay, what about a Cinderella candidate? Who could be this year's St. Peter's? Not a team that's going to win it all, but someone that can advance to the first weekend and get to the Sweet 16. Perhaps anyone you got your eye on that you want to get a little fancy with when filling out your bracket here this year?
I'll take a complete wild shot. Last year, the Cinderella team was a 15 seed. Usually, it's not that high of a seed, but I'll put out a 15 seed that could go on a run this year. The Colgate Raiders. The reason why they are a 15 seed, they play Texas first round, pretty tough matchup for them. But Colgate is the best shooting team in the country. Number 1 in effective field goal percentage. So if they get hot with their shooting, they can hang with any team in the country. Now, their defense isn't all that great. They have some other holes, obviously, and obviously their strength of schedule wasn't so great this year either. But the best shooting team in the country, who knows? If they get hot, they could beat anyone. Maybe someone, if you want to look at a 12 seed, Charleston is a pretty good look. I think they have a pretty favorable matchup against San Diego State in the first round. I think they might be able to win a game or two. So those are the two long shots I'll put out. Colgate and Charleston, I think, are two interesting candidates.
Now, speaking as someone who doesn't know what they're talking about, my Cinderella candidate will be Grambling State. Once again, a top 10 candidate or a top 10 team in effective field goal shooting. So if they get hot, and of course, who do they play in the first round? Probably the biggest choker in the history of college basketball, year after year, Gonzaga. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see a big upset there. Maybe Grambling State can get through. Am I predicting that will happen? Not necessarily, but I do think that they can cover that spread. I think it was
Grambling State's not in it. Grambling State's not in it. Grand Canyon is playing Gonzaga in the first round.
Speaking as somebody who doesn't know what they're talking about is what I said. So there we go. I take a look at this there we go. Effective use of the So yeah, long story short, if somebody says I'll place your action on Grambling State, just say no. I have no interest. Thought they would have got in. They won that SWAC tournament. That wasn't the case, so rough spot here for the host of Chasing That Paper here. So let's move on to the NFL. So some big stories out of the NFL. Thanks for correcting me, Ian.
Sorry, man. I threw you under the bus a little bit.
Well, you have to. That's my bad. I looked at that very quickly, and big fuck up. Let's hope the higher ups here at the company aren't watching the show.
You just meant to say Grand Canyon, that's all. They're both G schools, Grambling, Grand
they both start with a G.
Yes.
That said, don't place any bets on Georgetown either. Moving on to the NFL here. Some big stories out of the weekend. Of course, on Friday came out. I didn't expect this to happen this soon, but Panthers getting very aggressive. They move up. Trade with the Bears to get that number 1 overall pick. I like this for both teams. The Bears get an absolute haul. You know that they weren't going to draft a quarterback. Probably would have been pretty silly. There was no Andrew Luck, Trevor Lawrence, or Peyton Manning in this year's draft, so it didn't make sense to replace Justin Fields. So they get an absolute haul, 2 first, 2 second, and DJ Moore. That was a bit of a surprise for a lot of people. That's an incredible throw-in for the Bears. Now the Panthers go from 9 to 1. And all of a sudden, C.J. Stroud, he shot up the odds board to be the number 1 overall pick. He's currently minus 300 to go first overall. So maybe the Panthers do really like him. It's kind of funny. This might break pretty good for the Houston Texans. Now, of course, we know they won their final game last season. They kind of screwed themselves over. All they need to do was lose. They would have had the first overall pick, but they won that game. Now, if they have Bryce Young at the top of their draft board, they might be sitting pretty here. So maybe a good break here for the Texans. But I will say is, a lot of people coming out and criticizing the Panthers for giving up all this to move up to number 1. What I say to those people is shut up. We're not going to know the result of this for 2 years or so. In 2 years, if they draft Stroud and he's an absolute bust, yeah, you can absolutely kill them. But as I've pointed out many times before with the NFL draft, nobody knows what they're doing. You saw the 49ers trade all that up to get Trey Lance. You saw the Bears move up before to get Trubisky. We see guys like Patrick Mahomes. What was he, the 3rd quarterback off the board in his draft? No one knows what they're doing. So we can't really criticize this now. It's way too early. So give this a little bit of time to play out would be my suggestion there. And I think first-round picks, we see these teams give up a bunch of first-round picks. We hear the expression, fuck them picks, being thrown out quite a bit. First-round picks, I think, can be overrated here. How many of these guys absolutely fizzle out? Ask the New England Patriots, maybe the most successful team, or the most successful team in the NFL over the past 2 decades, how much success they've had drafted in the first round. No success whatsoever. So, Ian, I got to ask you, what do you make of the move here? Did the Panthers give up too much?
No, if they got their guy, and it sounds like they do with CJ Stroud, you got to give up what you have to go get him. I don't think draft picks are as valuable as a lot of people think they are.
I agree.
So, I mean, giving up DJ Moore, I think is kind of the biggest part of that deal. I think that kind of hurts them because I don't really know who their quarterback's going to throw to in his rookie season. But I like the deal for both teams. I think it'll work out well for both of them. But by the way, I do have breaking news, Joe, since we've gone live. Massive trade went down in the NFL. The Patriots traded Jonnu Smith to the Atlanta Falcons. Tight end.
Oh.
So that's a cool one.
Tight end share for the Falcons?
Tito, I don't know how I feel about that one. That one was kind of jarring. I don't even know what that sound effect was.
What was it? Play that again, Tito?
Good God Almighty!
Too jarring.
Yep.
Too
Vetoing
jarring.
that one. I like every other one he played so far, Tito. Don't like that one. But no, I like the. See, there you go. Great job. I like the deal for both the Bears and the Panthers.
Yeah, I do. I think that the Panthers, it is a good time to be aggressive. They gave up, a second-round pick to get Darnold, a second-round pick to get Baker Mayfield. Those guys aren't going to work out. We see these situations with some teams just hang on for way too long. That division is wide open, so why not be aggressive? Coming in with the new head coach and Frank Wright, they really like C.J. Stroud. Hey, go up and get him. So good for the Panthers. I don't mind that at all. Now, the other big news, my Miami Dolphins. What a great surprise this was yesterday. Alert comes in on the phone. The Miami Dolphins traded for a Hall of Fame caliber cornerback, still in his prime. Jalen Ramsey, still on the right side of 30, the third highest graded corner by Pro Football Focus last season. You combine that with the new defensive coordinator and Vic Fangio. Some young talent, Holland and Phillips on that defense. Of course, Bradley Chubb on that defense. This is a massive boost for the Dolphins. This defense had a lot of trouble getting off the field last year. They were awful on third down. So I think this great move here by the Dolphins. I love it. Now, I'm realistic enough to know that Jalen Ramsey 4 years from now probably still won't be one of the top corners in the NFL, but you're going to get an elite-level cornerback play out of Ramsey for probably at least 2 more seasons here. Xavier Howard, he took a step back last season. That's as a number 1 corner, though. Now he'll be stepping into the number 1 or 2 corner role here for the Dolphins, so maybe see some improved play out of him. Now the Dolphins 25-1 to win the Super Bowl, 10th best odds. Now they didn't give up anything really to get Ramsey, a tight end that no one's ever heard of, and a third-round pick. And it's funny, that third-round pick is the pick that they got from the Patriots when they traded them Devontae Parker their last season. So what do you think here, Ian? Big impact move by the Dolphins or what?
Yeah, great move for them, especially that they play in a division that involves that has Josh Allen in it. You need good secondary guys, good cornerbacks. Certainly a piece to help them out on defense. I think it's a good move. Jalen Ramsey. I didn't know how good Jalen Ramsey was this year. Apparently, he was the third highest cornerback by PFF's ranking. So I guess he had a better season than I thought he did. I can't say I paid too much close attention to Ramsey and the Rams, but yeah, looks like a solid pickup for the Dolphins and an important piece moving forward. And there is a picture of him in a Dolphins uniform, photoshopped.
I love it. Big impact player. A lot of star power on the Dolphins here. That doesn't always work out. Sometimes that can be a red flag. Sometimes you see all these teams. Remember that time the Philadelphia Eagles? They went all in and they brought in Vince Young to back up Michael Vick and I forget who else they brought in, like a bunch of big name guys who were past their prime. That backfired big time. But yeah, Ramsey's a guy who generally stays pretty healthy. Like I said, combine that with Vic Fangio as the defensive coordinator. Miami making moves. Now, they got to make a move to solidify that backup quarterback position here, too. I think Tua is more than capable when he's on the field, but he's got to be capable of not getting injured. So we'll see how that works out here for the Dolphins in 2023. It's going to be a big day in the NFL today with that free agency Kicking off here momentarily. Okay, guys, let me tell you a little bit about the Vegas Insider app. It gives you all the major sports betting odds at your fingertips, along with picks and expert breakdowns. You can shop for the best odds, find props, features, and plenty more with the app. If you want more Vegas Insider content like our shows, videos, and podcasts, you can find it all on the app in the media section. Download the Vegas Insider app on Apple or Android. Bet better with the Vegas Insider app.
Oh, yeah.
I like that one quite a bit. The ones that involve like a lot of words sometimes, like that Stephen A. Smith one that he had is good. It's the quick ones that I like too. That oh yeah is good. That is a longer one. That's pretty good. Just a reminder, do not bet on gambling states to do anything here in the March Madness tournament if you're looking to get your bets in on that. Producer Tito contributed in the show in more than one way. Here he also is submitting a pick for it this evening. Tito, I believe his 2-bet winning streak came to an end there last week. And Tito's weighing in here saying Vegas finally caught on to the Jimmy Butler prop. So we pivot. Tito, some insights from Las Vegas from Tito there. He likes Devin Booker over 2.5 threes at even money. Golden State 21st in an opponent 3-point percentage. Booker in his last 5 games is averaging 50% from 3 and almost 7 3-point attempts per game. With KD out, Booker will have the green light. There we have it. Hail at your own risk. Okay, guys, now it is time for today's handicapper heat check presented by VegasInsider.com. Your home for the best expert picks in the business since 1997. AAA Sports had a perfect 3-0 all-sports record yesterday and is on a 4-0 NBA run. Mark Franco went 2-0 in the NBA yesterday, and Will Rogers has an 8-2 all-sports record over the last 2 days. Visit VegasInsider.com/picks for tonight's NBA and NHL best bets. That's your handicapper heat check. Stay hot, bettors! You know, this World Baseball Classic, Ian, I like the idea of it. It's funny, a lot of these teams that are playing in it, I didn't even know would be competing in it. You're seeing Great Britain. They played baseball. It's a Czech Republic playing Australia today.
Yeah.
I'm like, they played baseball in the Czech Republic. I like the idea of it. I think it's good for baseball, but I do think it would be better if they did it after the season. I think it would be better if the World Baseball Classic was played in December. I mean, think about what they're going up against right now. They're going up against March Madness. So not a lot of attention. I think they get more players if they did it after the season too. Like you think these teams want their big-time pitchers who are just kind of lounging in spring training right now, going out and competing at a high level in the World Baseball Classic? Probably not. They might be more willing to let guys play in December. That's not really a complaint, just a suggestion going forward. December's not a down month for sports by any means, but I think it would make a little bit more sense. Okay, Ian, so a lot going on in the sports world. Tell us what you got going on in your world that Chasing That Paper viewers can check out.
Yeah, as I mentioned earlier, Bacon Bets podcast still plan on releasing at least most mornings during the week. Last week I was sick, so only got 1 episode out. But today's episode is already out. I go through my entire bracket. I give out my best bets for the play-in games on Tuesday, Wednesday. I'm also betting on every single March Madness game this tournament, which I've done for the past couple of years. So I'll be giving out my picks for all of those games on the Bacon Bets podcast as well. So you can check that out. And you can check out all my written work throughout the day over on Fansided.
All right, well done. So aside from my Brambling State suggestion, a pretty good show today. Tito showing a little bit of initiative. I think he hit on over 50% of the new sound effects. It's just a matter of getting the timing down on those. Now, don't eliminate all the previous ones. You still got to keep the woo going, not 7 or 8 times per show. The turkey is a classic. We got some to play with here, just getting the timing down of when to do those. We got to get a studio audience laugh, the sarcastic studio audience laugh that you see on sitcoms.
Right,
That's pretty good. Actually. All right. Yeah. So hopefully a good showing here with our picks here tonight. We thank everybody for watching. We thank Ian for joining as well. Ian will be back with us on Thursday. We'll be breaking down our favorite picks for March Madness and doing a preview of the UFC pay-per-view that day. Best of luck with your bets tonight, unless, of course, you are fading us. And as always, keep chasing that paper. Woo!